Standing here today, I want to talk to you about a silent, gentle, and utterly devastating killer. It doesn't come for you with a weapon, and it doesn't announce its arrival with a roar. It comes for you in the form of a soft chair, a predictable routine, and the warm, numbing embrace of the familiar. We call it comfort. We are taught from the moment we are born to seek it out. We are told to study hard so we can get a comfortable job, to save money so we can have a comfortable retirement, and to avoid uncomfortable situations. But I am here to tell you that comfort is the enemy of everything you are meant to become. It is the velvet-lined coffin of your ambition. When you are comfortable, you are not growing. When you are comfortable, you are merely existing in a state of stasis, watching the world move past you while you remain anchored to the same spot. Think about the nature of life itself. Life is movement. Life is friction. Life is the constant exchange of energy and the adaptation to new environments. Biological growth requires stress. A muscle does not grow when it is at rest. It grows when it is torn under the weight of a heavy load. A diamond does not form in a vacuum. It forms under the crushing weight of the Earth's crust. If you remove the pressure, you remove the possibility of greatness. Yet, we spend our entire lives trying to remove the pressure. We seek the path of least resistance. We choose the easy conversation over the difficult truth. We choose the steady paycheck over the risky dream. We choose the known disappointment over the unknown opportunity. This is the seduction of the shoreline. It feels safe to stay in the shallow water where your feet can touch the ground, but nothing of significance has ever been discovered in the shallows. The great explorers of history didn't find new continents by hugging the coast. They found them by losing sight of the shore. They embraced the discomfort of the storm and the uncertainty of the horizon. Most of us, however, are terrified of losing sight of the shore. We have built high walls around our lives to keep the discomfort out, not realizing that those same walls are keeping our potential locked inside. We have become a society that prizes convenience over character and safety over soul. We want the reward without the risk, the victory without the battle, and the transformation without the trauma. But nature doesn't work that way. The moment you stop being challenged is the moment you start to decay. You might feel fine, but fine is the most dangerous word in the English language. Fine is the graveyard of great. When you say your life is fine, what you are really saying is that you have stopped reaching. You have accepted your current circumstances as your final destination. You have settled. And the tragedy of settling is that you will never know what was waiting for you just beyond the hill of your own discomfort. We must learn to view comfort not as a reward for hard work, but as a signal that it is time to move. If your life feels too easy, if your days are entirely predictable, if you are the smartest person in every room you enter, you are in a danger zone. You are being lulled into a sleep from which many people never wake up. They wake up at 80 years old and realize they didn't live a life, they just survived a series of days. They played it safe, and in doing so, they lost the biggest gamble of all, the gamble on their own capacity to endure and overcome. Comfort is a liar. It tells you that you deserve a break when you haven't even started. It tells you that you've done enough when you've barely scratched the surface. It tells you that the risk isn't worth it, that the failure would be too painful, and that you are better off right where you are. But right where you are is a place of diminishing returns. The more you stay there, the smaller your world becomes. Your skills begin to atrophy. Your vision begins to blur. Your heart begins to lose its fire. We were not made for the stagnant pond. We were made for the rushing river. We were made to climb, to strive, and to struggle. The struggle isn't a bug in the system, it is the feature. It is the very thing that gives life its flavor and its meaning. Without the resistance of the wind, the eagle cannot fly. Without the resistance of the water, the ship cannot sail. And without the resistance of discomfort, the human spirit cannot soar. So, I ask you today, what are you protecting? What are you so afraid of losing that you refuse to step out into the cold? Is it your dignity? Is it your sense of security? Is it the approval of people who are just as scared as you are? Whatever it is a small price to pay for the version of yourself that is waiting on the other side of your fear. The enemy is not failure. The enemy is not pain. The enemy is the comfort that makes you believe you don't need to change. If part 1 was about recognizing the trap, part 2 is about understanding why the trap is so effective and how we must intentionally dismantle it to build something better. We are biologically wired to seek comfort. Our ancestors survived because they found ways to conserve energy, find warmth, and avoid unnecessary danger. Evolution has programmed us to love the easy way, but we no longer live in a world where survival is our primary concern. Most of us have our basic needs met, yet our brains are still operating on that ancient software that tells us to stay in the cave. We have to override that programming. We have to become the architects of our own discomfort. This means intentionally seeking out the things that make us feel uneasy. It means choosing the hard workout when you're tired, the difficult book when you're distracted, and the terrifying project when you're feeling inadequate. Why? Because the uncomfort zone is the only place where true learning happens. Think about the last time you actually learned something significant. Was it while you were sitting on your couch watching a show you've seen a dozen times? Or was it when you were thrown into a situation where you didn't know the answers? It was the latter. It was the moment of confusion, the moment of sweat, the moment where your heart was racing and you thought, I don't know if I can do this. That is the moment of neurological expansion. That is when your brain creates new connections. That is when your character is forged. If you want to become a leader, you must seek out the discomfort of responsibility. If you want to become an artist, you must seek out the discomfort of vulnerability. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you must seek out the discomfort of uncertainty. There is no shortcut. You cannot outsource the struggle. You cannot buy your way into growth. You have to go through the fire yourself. Many people think they are waiting for the right time to make a move. They are waiting until they feel ready. Let me tell you a secret, you will never feel ready. Ready is a myth. Ready is what people say when they are looking for a comfortable reason to stay put. Growth happens when you act before you are ready. It happens when you step into the arena while your hands are still shaking. If you wait for the feeling of comfort to return before you take action, you will be waiting forever. The world belongs to those who can act in spite of their discomfort. The people we admire, the innovators, the athletes, the heroes, are not people who don't feel fear or discomfort. They are people who have developed a different relationship with it. They see discomfort as a compass. They realize that if they feel a sense of resistance toward a goal, it's usually because that goal is exactly what they need to pursue. They run toward the fire, not away from it. They understand that the pain of discipline is far lighter than the pain of regret. Regret is a heavy, permanent weight that settles in your chest when you realize you had the chance to be more and you chose to be comfortable instead. Discipline, on the other hand, is a temporary sting. It is the cold shower in the morning. It is the extra hour of work when everyone else has gone home. It is the silence you maintain when you want to complain. This architecture of growth requires a daily commitment. You don't just overcome comfort once and call it a day. Comfort is a weed that grows back every night. You have to pull it out every single morning. You have to wake up and decide that today you will do something that makes you sweat, either physically, mentally, or emotionally. You have to push against the boundaries of your current identity. Most people are living in a cage of their own making, and the bars of that cage are made of their habits. They eat the same foods, talk to the same people, and think the same thoughts. They have automated their lives to the point of unconsciousness. To break out, you must introduce chaos. You must introduce the new. Change your environment, change your routine, change your expectations. Stop asking, how can I make this easier? And start asking, how can I make this more meaningful? Meaning and comfort are often at odds. The most meaningful things in life, raising a child, building a business, sustaining a marriage, mastering a craft, are all profoundly uncomfortable. They require sacrifice. They require you to put someone or something else above your own immediate desires. If you prioritize comfort, you will inevitably sacrifice meaning. You will trade the mountain peak for the flat plain because the plain is easier to walk on. But the view from the plain is boring. The air is stagnant. The life lived there is one of quiet desperation. You were built for the climb. You were built for the thin air and the jagged rocks. You were built to see how far you can go before your legs give out, and then to find out that you can go even further. The architecture of your life should be designed to support your highest self, not your laziest self. It should be a structure that challenges you, that demands more of you, and that refuses to let you settle for good enough. In this final part, we must look at the long-term consequences of our choices. A life lived in pursuit of comfort is a life that leaves no legacy. Legacy is not something that happens to you. It is something you carve out of the hard rock of reality. When we look back at the history of humanity, we don't remember the people who were the most comfortable. We don't build statues to the people who stayed in bed. We remember the people who were willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of a vision. We remember the people who suffered, who sacrificed, and who pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. Your life is a story that is being written one day at a time. Do you want your story to be a boring one? Do you want it to be a tale of a person who found a nice spot and stayed there until the end? Or do you want it to be an epic? An epic requires a protagonist who faces trials. It requires a journey through the dark forest. It requires a confrontation with the dragon. In your life, the dragon is your own desire for ease. If you slay that dragon every day, you create a legacy of strength. You become a lighthouse for others who are lost in the fog of their own comfort. There is a profound ripple effect when one person decides to stop being comfortable. When you push yourself, you give others permission to do the same. When you refuse to settle, you raise the standard for everyone around you. You show your children that growth is possible. You show your colleagues that excellence is attainable. You show your community that one person with a backbone is worth more than 1,000 people with a wishbone. This is how we change the world. It doesn't happen through comfortable committees and safe statements. It happens through the uncomfortable actions of individuals who are willing to be misunderstood, willing to fail, and willing to stand alone if necessary. The enemy, comfort, wants you to believe that you are fragile. It wants you to believe that you will break if you are pushed too hard. But the truth is the opposite. You are anti-fragile. Like a system that gets stronger when it is stressed, your soul thrives on challenge. The more you take on, the more you realize you are capable of handling. The more you endure, the more resilient you become. Eventually, you reach a point where you don't just tolerate discomfort, you crave it. You crave it because you know that on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that is smarter, faster, and more powerful. You begin to see the burn not as pain, but as the feeling of weakness leaving your body. Think about the end of your life. Imagine yourself looking back from the finish line. What will you be proud of? You won't be proud of the naps you took. You won't be proud of the times you played it safe. You will be proud of the moments you stood your ground when it was hard. You will be proud of the times you spoke up when your voice was shaking. You will be proud of the marathons you ran, the businesses you started, and the people you helped despite your own exhaustion. Those are the jewels in the crown of a life well lived. And every one of those jewels was mined from the dark, uncomfortable depths of the earth. So I challenge you today to declare war on your comfort. Start small if you must, but start. Take the harder path today. Say the thing you've been avoiding. Do the work you've been putting off. Wake up an hour earlier. Put down the phone and pick up the challenge. The easy life is a trap that leads to a hard end. The hard life is a path that leads to an easy conscience and a powerful spirit. Do not let your potential die inside you because you were too busy looking for a cushion. Burn the bridges that lead back to your old, safe self. Step into the cold, step into the dark, and step into the unknown. Because it is only there, far away from the stifling heat of the comfort zone, that you will finally find out who you are. It is only there that you will find the life you were actually meant to live. The enemy is waiting at your door with a soft blanket and a warm drink, promising you that you've done enough. Look that enemy in the eye and say, "Not today. Today I choose the struggle. Today I choose the growth. Today I choose to be uncomfortable." And in that choice, you will find your freedom. You will find your power. And you will find a life that is truly, deeply, and magnificently alive. Go out there and make yourself uncomfortable. The world is waiting for the person you are about to become.